Hello YouTube, my name is Joe and I am Shop Teacher Joe, right? A lot of what I do as a shop teacher is the unseen of maintaining machines. Today we're going to be building clamps, talking to vendors, collecting materials, making sure that I have the supplies so that my students can do the work that I'd like them to do. Different things that I teach. I do teach 4 different woodworking classes. I teach some small engine repair classes. I teach a power tech where we look at electric motors. We build some electric motors, talk about magnetism, power plants, that sort of thing. Then I teach a auto ownership class. So how does a person own a car, maintain a car, that sort of thing. Today we're going to talk about clamps. So I'd like to take a few minutes to just talk about one of the unsung heroes of the woodworking shop. We're going to talk pipe clamps. And I've got to say that when I watch the YouTube world, I watch the Instagram world, clamps are unapproachable and unaffordable for most people. Pipe clamps lowers that water line a little bit, right? And so let's kind of talk about them, really what they are, what do you get when you buy a kit, and let's make it a little more approachable. So I'm gonna move a little bit closer to the screen. I have a pile of pipes here. I have a pile of the pieces. I've already unboxed all of these and put them into a bin. I have a pipe wrench ready to go, and I have a vise, and all these are good to have. You don't need them all, but they're good to have. So let me come a little closer. So the first portion of this clamp, this is your actual clamp itself. The inside of this is threaded. That will match up to the threads on that pipe. This sleeve here will move as you tighten up that square thread there. It's kind of hard and difficult. We'll look at it a little bit closer when it's on. With that kit, you also get the end piece, and this has a stack of shims. There's 4 little shims. There's a spring built into them. They're a little challenging to get on, but you slide those over the end of the pipe, and together, those make your clamp. With these Jorgensen kits, you do get a little end cap. This will go on top of your threaded end of your pipe. So if you bought 2-foot pre-cut pipe that's threaded on both ends, this would be there to keep that spring-loaded part from falling off. We won't use these, but they do come in those kits. It's your black pipe. This is a 3/4 inch black pipe. I believe you can also buy these for a 1/2 inch black pipe. You could use galvanized pipe. Really 3/4 black pipe just seems to be the most economical. Downsides are that this usually has some oil on it. That black will kind of stain the glue. It will stain the wood a little bit, but for our situation, we're going to go back and plane that board anyhow, so it's not going to really matter. What I found to be the most economical is to have the hardware store cut 10-foot lengths. So for this situation, I had 3 10-foot lengths cut to 2 foot, which gives me 15 pieces. The 2 outside edges are already threaded. So all I have to do is have those 3 inside pieces threaded on one end, which is an additional cost, but I don't want to do that. So just cut and then threaded. So let's assemble a few of these. Assembly really is pretty simple. We're going to start out with just this threaded part. We're going to slide that right over the top of it, and then we just spin, right? Not too challenging, and we want to make sure that that's getting set in there really good. So I will spin this in by hand, and then I will put that orange piece in a vise and give that just a little more tight. The end piece, like I said, sometimes this can be a little challenging. You can see inside that hole that shim is a little bit off, which is good. That's what it's supposed to do. And so you just got to kind of get it in there, bend things around, right? I'll keep talking to you. Real time, right? Real time. We do a lot of editing and magic on YouTube. There we go. And there you go. Essentially, that is your clamp. You put your board in there, you tighten this down. I use this a lot when we're laminating two boards together to make 1.5 inch thick legs. We also are doing some bar stools, so we will use these to kind of, basically the bar stool top is a giant cutting board. Whew. These are looked down upon by a lot of woodworkers. This piece right here will get really jammed up. This will no longer be smooth. It might last you a lifetime. My students during one class, one trimester of working will be a lifetime of personal use, but cost effective. If you've looked at education, we do not have a lot of money. We are limited by our money, so we have to find the most heavy duty option, but the most cost effective. So let's snug this up, and then I've got a little more work to do. So like I said, I'm gonna put this in the vise. I'm not gonna tighten down too much, just enough to keep it from rotating. Just take my pipe wrench. Oh, I might have to adjust it. That's always the situation. We're just gonna give that. So these orange portions are cast iron, so we don't want to go too crazy with them. Looks like I need a new pipe wrench, huh? There we go. There you go. That is a clamp. So I'm going to start assembling, and then we will come back. We're going to actually put a little bead of weld on the end of these so that this doesn't slide off and disappear. So once I got these assembled, and honestly, I didn't assemble all of them. I assembled a few of them, captured that on video, and then I had one of my students assemble them same way. Got it started, tightened it up with the pipe wrench, and then work this piece on. This piece can be challenging. It can be pretty challenging. Then I went ahead and laid them all on the table, and I put just a couple beads of weld on the end. And I've thought of all sorts of ways that I could do this very easily, but honestly, the simplest thing is just to lay them all out, clamp your ground on, and I just used a stick welder. If I had a nice welding table, they all would have been grounded out pretty well. But pretty much that's just there so that those ends don't slide off. These are 2 foot long. I made 15 pieces out of 3 10-foot lengths. I purchased these from my local hardware store. I would say that the hardware store, the price is much higher than they would be at a big box like a Menards or Home Depot or one of those places. However, I didn't have to wait. And so you get a 10-foot length of this at a big box like a Menards for right around $21, $22. You'd have to thread one end, but like I said, I could get 5 of these pieces for that $21, $22. You do have to thread the ends. If you have the threads or you have access to that, good. My hardware store was much more expensive, but they charged me $1 per thread. So 9 extra threads I had to put on there, but it was ready for me. I didn't have to wait, and time is valuable. So pipe clamps may be an option for you. I know I was pricing out on Amazon, getting some, like, I believe they're Bessie, which great product, but you get 4 like 20-inch long clamps for like $115. Here You could probably get 6 of them for that same price, and as long as you want to go, right? So these are some things that a shop teacher does. Not too impressive, not too exciting, not even original, but I think that this is still a good option. This is a sturdy option. If you wanted to spend a touch more money, you could get galvanized pipe, then you wouldn't have that black staining on your glue, your boards, what have you. If you wanted to lay down a piece of paper, once again, you don't have that issue. For most of us that are hobbyists, woodworkers, we're not gonna wear these out. Now, if you do woodworking as a professional game, you may wear these out, but I'm still willing to bet that you are not doing the glue up like my classes do. These kids, I tell them to tighten it until their hand hurts. And I'm not serious when I say that, but they still don't have that muscle yet. And so just tighten it. You will not break these things. They're built very well. So once again, sometimes I feel like a sales pitch, but these pony brakes here, or these pony clamps, are really good. Heavy duty option. These pipes don't bend. These threads are nice and square, and pretty sturdy option. So here we go. We're headed back into a weekend, and shop teachers are just doing their thing, right? So take care, have fun in the shop, and be safe. Bye.